I don't have a note sheet, so you're just going to have to look at them and figure this out. So solving systems, what you might want to do is look at these graphically and look at them algebraically as well. So with this one, what shape does this thing make right here? I bet you guys know that. Hello? What shape does this make? A line. Whoa, what happened? Uh-oh. What does this do? Go back. What happened to my thing? Okay. This, what's going to happen if I do that? This makes a line, and this makes a parabola. And that would make a, let's see, if I brought the x squared over there, or the y over here, it makes a right side up parabola, right? And so you, I'm not going to graph it exactly, but you have a parabola, and then you have a line, which is negative y equals negative 3x minus, so it'll be y equals positive 3x minus 2. So you have a line, and that's not a very good line. But you have a line and a parabola. How many different solutions could I have to that? Two. You could have up to 2. You will have 2 because eventually this is going to hit, right? You could just have 1 if it were a, what you call a tangent line where it's exactly touching at one spot, right? Or you could have no solutions, right? So you have to, when you're doing these inequalities, you have to think about how many possible solutions can I have, okay? But then you could just solve them algebraically. How can I solve this system algebraically? What would be an easy thing to get rid of? The y's, right? And because I said so, that's why. So what you would do, is I would just multiply this by negative 1 to make your life easier. You don't really have to do that. You could just subtract the 2 equations. But if I multiply that by negative 1, I get minus 3x plus y equals 2. And then I'm going to add that to the equation 2x squared minus y equals 0. And I'm going to add those 2 together, and the y's go away. And what I'm left with is 2x squared minus 3x equals 2. And then I have to try to get everything on one side and factor it, okay? So I'm going to bring the 2 over there, 2x squared minus 3x minus 2 equals 0. And then I unwrap the foil. That's what we're going to unfoil. So x has to go there. What has to go here? One of them has to be 2, and I think the 2 has to be here because I have a minus 3 over there, right? So 1, and then does this get minus? Yeah, you were right, Nick. Minus plus, right? So either 2x plus 1 equals 0, which means that x equals negative 1/2, or x equals 2, right? But then you also have to find y, okay? So you have to take those and plug them in to the easier of the 2, which would be this one, right? So if I plug in 3 times negative 1/2 minus y equals negative 2, I get negative 3 over 2 equal minus plus 2 equals y. I'm just doing a little algebra here, which gives me y equals positive 1/2. Is that right? Positive 1/2. And over here, if I plug 2 in here, 6 plus 2 equals y. Y equals 8. Is that right? Y equals, is that right? If I take 2, 6 minus y, 8, right? Yep. Y equals 8. So obviously my picture is not correct. It doesn't cross where it crosses more like over here somewhere. negative 1/2, 1/2. How could that be? Is this line going the other way? Y equals, let me look at my notes. Hold on, I did all these problems. It's going the other way. Yeah, you're right. The line's going the other. That line has a positive slope. Yeah, so the line is actually coming down this way. So it makes sense. All right. So that's how you do that type of system. There's lots of different types of things that we will encounter in our endeavors here. So this one here is, what do I have here? What is this the equation of? That's equation of a circle, and this is the equation of a parabola. So if you think about the different possibilities, right? I'm going to try to draw a circle with my high-tech drawing tools. Circle. So, oh, look, it's all set on circle. So here's a circle, right? I could have a parabola and a circle not cross at all, right? Could they cross in one place? They could cross in one place, right? If it just barely. Could they cross in two places? Yes. Right? Could they cross in three places? Could they cross in three places?
Yeah.
Three places like this. Something like that, right? Or four places where it would go all the way through and hit it twice, right? So you have to be aware of how many solutions.
Can it just follow the circle?
Couldn't it just what? Follow the circle, kind of like exactly? No, because if it's a parabola, it's only going to have the same curve as that circle for at a couple points. Yeah, so you can have 1, 2, 3, or 4 solutions, or no solutions, right? So you got to be aware of that as you're looking for the answers. All right. So let's erase that thing. How do I get rid of that circle? I guess if I click on it, it'll go away. Go away. Okay. There we go. So to solve this is an easy one to solve too. I could just subtract these two equations, couldn't I? Is that okay if I just subtract them rather than multiply 1 by -1? So I'm going to subtract these two equations, and I get x squared minus x squared. Keeping in mind that when you subtract, I don't like to subtract that much because when you subtract, you have to remember that this is y squared minus y, right? So that becomes y squared plus y equals 13 minus 7, which is 6. Easy, right? So now you have y squared plus y minus 6 minus 6 equals 0. And so then you factor that. That should be an easy factor problem. Y plus 3, right? Y minus 2. So either equals 0. So either y equals -3 or y equals 2. And then you have to go back and figure out your x values, okay? So y equals 3 and -3, sorry. So I'm going to take that and plug it into this one because this is kind of the easier of the two. So I get x squared minus -3 plus 3 equals 7. So x squared equals 4. So x equals plus or minus 2, right? So this represents 2 of your possible 4 solutions. It's -3 plus 2 and -3 minus 2. You understand that? Okay, so this point -3 gives you back 2 solutions. Then I plug in 2 and I get x squared minus 2 equals 7. So x squared equals 9. So x equals the square root of 9 plus or minus, right? Plus or minus 3. So you have two more solutions. One being, whoops, I'm going the wrong way. I'm finding x, not y, right? So those should be flipped. Good? So these points, that's wrong. It should be 2, negative 3, and negative 2, negative 3, right? And then over here, you should have the points 3, comma 2, and negative 3, comma 2. So this one crosses at 4 places. All right? No trouble? Do you have to check? Yeah, I guess you should check and plug it in there and make sure they all work. But I think algebraically it should work. Okay? This one looks kind of hard, doesn't it? Should we do this one? Yes, please. Okay? So with this one, ooh, look at all these ones. So, is this the next one? So this is kind of weird in that you have this over x on the bottom. And you say, I don't know what to do with that. Anyone know how to get rid of that x on the bottom? Yes, very good, Nick. Nick said, first thing you want to do is get rid of this x on the bottom by multiplying everything by x. So you got to be careful with that. So over here, this equation becomes x squared plus x, and this, I think this is an ellipse. I believe it's an ellipse. Okay? X, I multiply this by x, this by x. This, I'm going to multiply this fraction by x, which makes the x go away on the bottom. Y squared minus y, and 0 times x is 0. The only thing you can, what can x not be? X, so with the condition that x cannot be equal to 0. So when I solve this system, if one of my solutions comes out to be x equals 0, I got to get rid of that, okay? And then I'm going to put this one right on top of it, okay? X squared plus x plus y squared minus 3y plus 2 equals 0. And then I'm just going to subtract those two equations. And I subtract those two, look what happens. Boom, boom, boom. Minus 3y minus negative y makes minus 2y. 2 minus 0 makes plus 2 equals 0 minus 0 equals 0. So 2y equals negative 2, so y equals 1. Right? Yeah? See, it's kind of a trick. But then you have to find x. Okay? So I would plug into this one, y equals 1. So you get x squared plus x plus 1, right? Minus 3 plus 2 equals 0, which gives you x squared plus x. 1 minus 3 is negative 2, plus 2 is 0. Oh, look at how nice. And then what you have to do with this is factor out an x from both of these. X times x plus 1. So what are my possibilities?
X equals 0.
Either x equals 0, which is not allowed, right? Or x equals negative 1. So this one only has one solution. And that solution is negative 1 comma 1. Because I have to throw out this possibility that x could be 0, because that here I multiplied by 0, and you're not allowed to multiply by x, and x cannot be equal to 0. Okay? We're good with that? These are fun, right? This is like algebra, you know? You like this? Wait! Where are you going?